Next up is flight planning. In this process, there are 4 parameters that control how the copter is going to behave in flight. These are altitude, speed, side lap, and front lap. These parameters will change based off of the makeup of the field and again for the conditions of the flight. Now we supply set flight profiles based off of crop stage and the lighting conditions to try and make this process easy. From your side, you just need to make sure you apply the correct parameters for each flight. An example flight profile is shown here, where for a V2 growth stage, you would fly at a 40 meter altitude, either 6 or 4 meter per second speed depending on the lighting conditions, and 80% side overlap. Be sure to check your own flight profiles for any additional notes that may be applicable for your own data collections. Now, front lap can be set at 50% for all flights, but you will always be asked to input this into your flight planner. The 2 other things that you can control during the flight planning process is where and when the copter flies. When drawing the flight path, there are a couple things you need to keep in mind. Number 1, we want to extend the flight leg well past the field boundary, so the copter has plenty of time to complete its turn and return over relevant information with the sensor level to the ground. About 25 meters past the field boundary is a good starting point for this. Number 2, on the other side of the field, all data should be covered by at least 2 flight legs, so make sure to add an extra flight leg or 2 at the sides of the field. And number 3, we want to minimize turns during the data collection by flying with the long leg of the field. For instance, we would not want to fly this field north to south, which would dramatically increase the amount of turns the copter would have to take during this data collection. Finally, we want to make sure there's good lighting conditions when you collect data. To do this, always fly within 3 hours of solar noon. Make sure there is enough sunlight so that you can see shadows on the ground. And try and fly in stable lighting conditions, either full sun or overcast where you can still see shadows. Avoid low passing clouds whenever possible.